Okay.
Governor. I've been in this business for 33 years. This is the first time I've ever done an interview eating breakfast.
Are you really serious?
Yes, 33 years. This is the first time. But I have a lot to discuss, sir.
Okay.
And I appreciate your spending time with us. I last interviewed you on September 12th. Very happy day for you.
It was.
5 months later, tell me about your road to restoration. Where are you and what is the status?
You know, that was a marvelous time in my life to have the United States Supreme Court unanimously vindicate me and my wife and my family, my state. I think we were all a part of that. And it was a source of great joy. And then, of course, 2.5 months later, the government dismissing the case, realizing they did not have a case under the proper law. And so, you know, Andy, God has been in the process of restoring many things to my life. I feel a little bit like Job in the Old Testament, the way he's restored things. My law license has been back, my right to vote, getting my passport back. And, you know, I have...
Did you vote in the November election?
I did.
And for whom did you vote?
I voted for Mr. Trump. I did. Yeah, I mean, you know,
Are you pleased with his performance?
You know, the jury's still out. I think it takes a while to grow into the job. There's been some false starts, I think, some of these cabinet members. I like some of the policies. He's doing some of the things he's said on things like immigration and regulatory reform and some of the fiscal conservative policies he's talking about. But, you know, look, I wish he'd check in his cell phone and not tweet. I wish he'd tone down his tone a little bit and bring people together. But, you know, it takes a while to get that done.
Doesn't it gnaw at you that had this trial not come along in the prosecution, that could have been you?
No.
Oh, come on.
No, it really doesn't. And
you don't think about that?
I think about it, but it doesn't gnaw on me. I'm not angry or bitter. I don't wish something would have been different. I think just God's got something else in store for me that's bigger and better, another way to serve Him. I've been doing this for 38 years. From an Army lieutenant to governor, been in state and federal service for a long time. And it's a good long road. And, you know, I've got grandchildren, I've got opportunities in the private sector, I'm teaching, I'm practicing law, I'm thinking about writing a book. I mean, my life is plentiful, and I just look at it as a different way to serve.
What would that book be about?
Well, be a lot about that 38 years in public service, a lot that I've learned, some of it easily, some of it the hard way. It'll be about the road of the last 3.5 years and the difficult times of going from governor to indicted in 10 days, about the heartache of being convicted when I knew in my heart I was innocent, about the joy of the Supreme Court, and really about the great work that the Lord had done in my life to just trust Him and then see His hand move and be restored. That's a lot of what it'll be about, because, you know, what I've learned is everybody has gone through suffering in their life. Suffering is actually something that can produce good fruit in your life if you keep your head up and trust Him, but everybody goes through hard times at some point. And I've learned a lot about how to endure and how to keep your head up and suffer well. And so I want to write about that.
You literally function with everything possibly falling down around you. How did you function?
It was to completely my faith in God and my reliance on some outstanding people that were in my cabinet, that believed in me, that knew this was wrong, that were going to endure till the very end. I mean, nobody left. Everybody stayed with me and worked hard. A couple people had good jobs. They left a month out, but everybody hung in there because they believed in our mission.
Not only that, but during the trial, they came and they testified. They said, if Bob McDonnell decides to run for public office again, sign me up. They said something to that effect.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider running for public office again?
No, I doubt it. I've got, again, a new mission, I think, in my life in the private sector that I can serve well.
Doesn't that complete the restoration, though?
No.
In office, indicted, found guilty, vindication from the Supreme Court, you run again and you win. Isn't that the end of the story?
No. No, because I don't need a title or an office to feel vindicated. I mean, I know who I am as a person. I have my faith in God, which is far and away the most important thing in my life. And so, you know, being restored to a position where I can serve well at Regent, with local charities, with my family, and just frankly helping people on more of a retail level one day at a time, that's what I enjoy.
You are going to, in March, begin teaching at Regent University as a distinguished professor. In your class, if I took your class, what would the message be? And I think it's called the Governor's Center for the Restoration of Federalism. What would I learn?
Well, that's something different. What I'm teaching, ironically, is constitutional criminal procedure. Is my first class in the law school.
You know something about
I do, and my second class that I'll be teaching also starting in March is leadership, which I really enjoy. I've taught that before.
5 months later, oh, first of all, are you back working at your law firm? Did I hear that correctly?
I am. Yes, I was
Tell me about that.
I was a partner at the law firm of Huff, Pool and Mahoney for 14 years as a delegate from Virginia Beach, and loved working with those great people there. And so they offered me a position just a few months ago to go back in an of-counsel position. It's now Poole, Brook, and Plumlee. People I've known for 25 years, a wonderful group of people. So I'll be doing a little bit of practice, but mostly I'll be hopefully bringing in a little new business to the firm.
So you have a law license now, and now
I
you're
do.
Hanging a shingle where a shingle already exists. What kind of law will you be involved in? What is the description of that?
Well, listen, I'll be
Are
doing.
you the rainmaker? Bringing in
I'll
new
be
business?
hopefully doing a little rainmaking for the firm, is what I did a little bit when I was there anyway, but I practiced in the area of civil litigation, administrative law. But, I have a vast array of experience over the last 40 years, and as clients need things that I think I can be of value, then the firm leaders will let me know. But it's, I have a series of part-time jobs, if you will. My main avocation is the McDonnell Group, a business I founded with my sister.
My next question. Go ahead.
A couple of...
What is that? What is the McDonnell Group?
Well, it's a very creative name, don't you think?
I believe there was probably designed by your sister Maureen.
It was all her choice. She wanted to have it the Maureen Group, but we couldn't. So it is a business.
Let me ask you something about Maureen.
Yes.
She's really been a steadfast rock for you, has she?
She's been tremendous. She's been my best friend, my best prayer partner, my best advocate. Helped me immensely every step of the way during this trial. We grew up as a very close Irish Catholic family. I was the oldest; she was the youngest. But we've been in the same community now for about 10, 12 years, and we've just gotten to be incredibly good friends. But every step of the way, she had my back. Whether it was being a spokesman for the family, whether it was praying with me at night in the dark times to be able to get me through that next day. And so we decided to go into business together. She's very accomplished. She's worked for a major Fortune 500 company. She worked for Regent for a while, and got
Mara Group, right?
Mara Group, IBM for 15 years. Got very keen marketing skills. So we decided to pool our talents and start this company to be able to help small businesses here in Hampton Roads in business development.
I'm a
and
small
other
business.
things.
How do you help me? What do you do for me?
Depends what you need, because we can do a lot of things. So business development is the chief one, helping existing businesses find new customers, new markets, whether it's analysis or introducing them to people that might be new customers. We're doing investor recruitment. In other words, a couple of companies here in Hampton Roads, a couple in New York that have needs for capital, might need to raise a couple $1 million of private equity, and we can help them with that. Business consulting. Everybody's got problems with government, state or federal. We can help them navigate that because of our experience. We're doing a little bit of fundraising for a couple of nonprofits, and we can do some government relations as well. So that's it. It's a very small. It's just my sister and I and a couple other people.
Now, what about DSG? Is that
ESG Enterprises.
I'm sorry, ESG
Yes.
Enterprises. What is your relationship with them? I know you are involved with them,
Yes.
dealing with the arena deal
Yeah.
and trying to get a hockey team.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun. This arena
Is that going to
project,
happen?
it's going to
I know there's
happen.
been some bumps in the road. Where are we now with
Well,
it?
it's a $350 million deal or so. It's a big deal. It's the biggest economic development project, I believe, in the history of Virginia Beach. It's taken a lot of work with the city.
Where do
So
we
we're
stand
down.
now?
Well, we're down to the last couple of weeks of finishing up the financing.
Is
Hopefully,
it in place?
we're
Can
working
you give me
on
a
it.
scoop on that?
No. You'll know as soon as the city of Virginia Beach gets the commitment letter, which is due by March 8th, and we'll have it there. And then it will lead to unprecedented economic development in the Virginia
You're that
Beach area.
confident?
Absolutely.
On March 8th,
That's our deadline.
what are we going to hear on March 8th? Hey,
Well,
they did it.
you're
They
gonna-
got the financing
you're gonna
together.
hear
We're
we
going to
got
build
the
an arena.
That's right. And it's a game changer.
That's going to happen on March 8th.
18,000, on or before. It's an 18,000 seat arena. It'll give us the ability to attract an NHL or NBA team, 120 to 150 major concerts and venues and acts that'll come here to Virginia Beach that we haven't been able to get before. Political conventions, religious conventions. It's going to really change that 19th Street corridor, the Vibe District, and it'll attract people from all over the region, around the state that'll come here.
5 months later, where is Jesus Christ?
You know, he's the king of my heart. He has been for most of my life. It's the way my parents raised me. But
did you ever question and say, why is all this going on?
Sure, I did. Same way his son hanging on the cross said, my God, why have you forsaken me? You know, that's the way I felt the day of the verdict. You know, I trusted you, Lord, and yet I was convicted unfairly. What happened? But other than that, I have had a remarkably special encounter with God. I'd never understood why I was constantly at peace, why I always believed that it was going to work out okay. I wasn't angry, I wasn't bitter, I wasn't scared, I wasn't uncertain about the result. I was able to live one day at a time, trusting Him, trusting in the daily bread, you know, like we say in the Lord's Prayer. And I can't explain that other than it's a supernatural peace that only comes through faith in God.
God was at work because you had to go completely through the valley.
Yes.
In order for this to be really big, that your name is now attached to the McDonnell decision, that other people coming along will benefit from that because of that. And it only would have happened had you gone all the way through the valley to the Supreme Court, that if it had ended in Judge James Spencer's court, it wouldn't have been the same. That you had to do that.
Yes.
Do you feel that way?
I do. I do. Listen, I thought my mark in public service would be some of the positive things I did as governor, and I still hope that that's the case. But I believe with all my heart this was a tremendously unfair prosecution by the federal government.
But we only would have known that had it gone to the Supreme Court.
Well, that's true. That's true. And
And you think that was God's plan?
I do. You know, I don't think anything happens by accident in this life. I think divine providence, as it was at the foundation of the nation, is still alive and well today. And so while it was not the path of my choosing, and I wish I could have learned some of these lessons a different way, I, in many ways, embrace the first chapter of James, which says that you should consider it joy to endure trials of every kind because it breeds perseverance, making you complete, lacking in nothing. Well, there were some times that I was not joyful, but as the event wore on, I began to think, you know, I have got a small taste of what it's like to suffer, just like Jesus did walking up Calvary, and that it is making me a better person. I stand or sit now before you a better, stronger, more resolute, more faith-filled person, more trusting that I can overcome any obstacle that might occur in my life, and frankly, much more empathetic to the plight of other people. You know, I spent a lot of time my last year in governor, as you know, facilitating prisoner reentry and restoring more rights than any governor at the time, and never thinking that I too was going to have to maybe have my rights restored at some point. And so, you know, it's been overall a very difficult but remarkably deep spiritual experience in my life. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I do believe that the decision in my case will help others. Just a couple weeks after my court case came down, my friend Mark Shurtleff, former Attorney General of Utah, used this case in part to have his charges dismissed. So I already see some of that benefit. And really what this does is this case, with the clarification and the rebuke of the federal government in the Supreme Court opinion, and the clarity of the rules now, it will be good not only for elected officials, but what people forget, this is also for the business people, the people that choose to participate in government, the donors. So they too, that have to follow the same rules, know if they give money that they can still participate in government and have a meeting with an official without the fear of federal prosecution.